Hey, this is Brandon Welch and Tyson Porlas,
Hey.
co-owners of the Beal Racing NHRA Top Fuel Dragster, coming at you with another video.
Number 2.
This time, we're going to talk about how did we make the decision
The decision.
to... so dramatic. The decision...
It was a dramatic day.
to the decision to switch from a nitro funny car operation to a Top Fuel Dragster.
We're going dragster racing.
And I think to understand how we made that decision, it kind of helps to know where we came from.
Right. You have to know the backstory. What was going on inside here to make us...
So we're gonna tell you the
racers.
backstory. We're gonna let you in on the culture of drag racing.
How did we come to be?
And why people typically don't switch between long cars and short cars.
They don't. There's no
Between
flip-flopping.
door cars and not door cars, between bracket cars and heads-up cars, people just don't switch. So there's a little bit of a culture that we had to overcome there.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, what were the points that swayed us to taking a big leap and building a dragster?
Let's take them to the beginning. Where do we come from? Our stock.
Tell me of the stock.
Tell you the stock. Well, Beal Racing, named after our grandfather, Chuck Beal, who started this whole operation back in the 60s, right? Grew up in the prime era of drag racing.
American graffiti.
American
Southern
graffiti.
California.
Think of it, you know?
Yeah.
So he started out just by really taking apart cars. He worked at a rental car area, and he was taking heads off the rental cars and putting them into his
I think the statute of limitations is fast. Chuck Beal worked downtown San Diego near the airport at a rental car place in like 1960 whatever. He straight stole the cylinder heads on one of his shifts, stole the cylinder heads off of one of the new cars and put them on his car, and then got caught and apparently didn't get sent to jail, just got fired. But that's what people did. They just stole cylinder heads.
Just grabbed junkyard parts, threw a car together, and took it to the track and whooped some ass.
Yeah, and then...
well, actually, this first race car that he bought, he did it behind our grandma's back, and it was actually a front-engine dragster that showed up one day to the house, and she was like, "Chuck, what is this?"
No, okay, so the story, the real story was that... So Chuck bought a race car dragster from his buddy and said he'd pay for it, but he wanted to keep the dragster at his friend's house, and he did not tell KB about, we call her KK. He did not tell KK about it, and the way she found out about it, and they're like 20 or something like that.
With 2 daughters, by the way, 2 little girls.
I don't know when your mom came around, but like it was 2 daughters at that time.
Yeah.
Okay. So she found out because his friend's mom or dad called their house looking for mom, I think, because KK was like, "Who's calling?" and he's not here, and she's like, "This is so and so's mom, and he owes my son money for this dragster that he bought," and he didn't even know he owned a dragster. This is terrible.
Can you imagine today buying a race car behind your wife's back?
I'd be divorced
and
12 times over.
Yeah,
no, that's not
Write a comment if you did that, by the way. I want to hear that story.
Yeah, tell me the story of when you betrayed your marriage
for a race car.
Massive financial mistake because of a race car. So Chuck came up anyway. Early 80s, got into where he really hit his stride. He built a blown gas dragster and campaigned that in the late 70s, early 80s, and then in like 82, I may be getting the dates wrong a little bit. I wasn't born yet. He built his first alcohol funny car, and that's really where he hit his stride.
You weren't born in 82?
No.
When were you born?
83.
Really?
Come on, man. So
you're only 2 years older than me?
Yes.
I just learned something.
Dear God. Dear God. That makes me sad that you don't know that.
You didn't...
You're born in 85.
You knew that already?
Your social security numbers is 552-97. So, okay. So it has a lot of success in an alcohol funny car. We grow up at the racetrack. My first flight, I was 6 months old. And it was to San Jose to go to a drag race. And so we grew up at the racetrack. They would just let us roll around and tires get all dirty, and we just always grew up at the racetrack. But we were in a funny car pit. We only ever owned funny cars.
And that was it. Yep.
And Chuck became prolific. He'd run sometimes 2 races in a weekend. He'd qualify on Friday, drive all night, do a match race on Saturday, come back and win the race at the original location where he qualified on Sunday. In the 80s, that was a magical time.
Can you imagine if it was like that today?
It'd be great.
Oh,
That'd be great. I'd be tired. That'd be exhausting. Yeah. So anyway, so funny car family. In the early 90s, he wrecks his alcohol car and decides to build a nitro car.
Yep.
And that was right when we were coming of age. And when we were kids, all of my idols were funny car drivers.
Funny car drivers. I had everybody's picture on my wall. I had Ron Capps. I had even Tommy. This is back when they drove for Snake too.
Yeah,
and they had the really cool green
cars.
and the blue car. Yeah. Tommy Johnson Jr. Del Worsham. Huge fan all growing up.
I was a big Del and Dean Scusa guy.
I used to like mimic Del's top end interviews.
Chuck Cragen.
You know, shout out to Del, Chuck Cragen. All right. So those are like my idols.
Yes.
Funny car guys.
Yes.
Hardcore.
Yes. So we had a dream of we were going to be funny car drivers, funny car guys till we die.
Yeah.
And really, in drag racing, and drop a like if this is true. You're a door car person, you're a funny car person, you're a pro mod person, you're a dragster person. It's very rare to switch tribes from the tribe of Abraham, which is the funny cars, to the tribe of Judah, I don't know, which is dragsters.
I don't like your reference.
This is a stupid reference.
Okay, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're one or the other, and never the two shall cross.
Right, and even when we first told people, I had friends that are funny car people like, dude, you're building a dragster?
What?
Come on.
Why?
Bro?
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't do that. I'd rather stay home.
Sell your shit and go home.
Yeah. So
that was the feedback we got from the people.
They're really glowing.
Yeah.
And so we grew up funny car people, and then we had our Nitro funny car for a long time, and then Chuck passed away. Our grandfather passed away in 2017, and we decided you never make a big decision when you're kind of mourning or have grief. So all we decided after
he passed away, and he left us the operation to lead and to make these decisions here. And
so the only decision we made, we got together as a crew with our crew guys. A lot of the guys have worked with us for decades, and said, okay, all we're going to do is we're going to run the funny car one more time.
The tribute race.
And we're going to wrap the car like his Beal Mobile alcohol funny cars, and we're not going to make any decisions beyond that.
Yeah.
And really, once we were at that point, you know, it was a big crossroads for us, because we could have decided, I mean, sometimes in life you're presented with a decision that says, okay, I can take the really hard road if you've ever decided to start a business, or you're going to strike out on your own doing something, or I could take the easy road. And for us, the hard road was lean back into the racing without the leadership and the wisdom of Chuck, or, you know, even just sell everything and we have a nice little nest egg.
Like, I think what that tribute race really did for us, though, was cement the fact that we want to keep racing.
Yeah.
You know, we're out there. I mean, this is where our heart is. This is where we grew up.
Yeah.
We can't just walk away, because there'd be no coming back. If we walked away, we're not coming back. It'd be way too hard
we'd have
to
to
get
go
back in.
become millionaires.
Yeah. And so we sat there. I remember we were sitting with Scott Graham, who was helping us out on the funny car. That's how he came to be with us. He worked with Chuck on the funny car, and then he helped us on the tribute race. And we had that meeting in the lounge at Pomona. It was at the World Finals, right?
Yeah.
And it came down to, he just laid out, what do you guys want to do? And we were talking, going back and forth, and all he had to do was say, let's go dragster racing, and we were on board. You know, we knew what we had with Scott. He was going to help us out. He was going to kind of guide us through the transition there. And we knew the guys were on board 100%. All of our crew guys who were also funny car guys, but I think we're all up for a new challenge.
Yeah, for me, the weight of running the dragster with a funny car was what I was tired of at that time was we worked really hard on the funny car, and funny cars are just the short wheelbase. The tune-up is a little bit more finicky. It's really hard to get a funny car to do the same thing twice. So when you see those cars, some of those funny cars that might make, I'm thinking of like the DHL car the year Dell won the last championship. It was 2017 or something like that. 16. They made like 30 runs in a row to the finish line during the countdown.
Yeah.
You see a team do that, it's just an incredible feat to get that set of parts and that tune-up in a short wheelbase car to do that. And it's just hard at the time. You know, we're an independent team. We had less funding than a lot of those people, and less data really is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And so I was just, you know, we
had Moxie. We had the drive,
the
guts,
the ganas.
the gut. We had huevos.
Okay. We're getting sexual. But I was just like, you know what? And as a driver, I didn't feel like I'd get really good at driving the funny cars because it wouldn't do the same thing twice. And I knew we had in it, with the amount we were working and our ability to sell sponsorships, I knew we could build a top tier team. And with Scott, what we had was the opportunity to say, okay, we're just gonna clone your car that you have with Pat Dakin that you're running on the East Coast, and with your guidance. And then with the oversight of Bill Tagney, our car chief,
Sir William of Clantagney.
Sir William of Clantagney, we're gonna just try to build something that is consistent, but also consistently fast.
Yeah.
And we felt like there was more of an opportunity to do that.
We
and be
could
competitive.
immediately step in and be a top tier team.
Right, and we saw that with the dragster, that immediately we came out and we qualified 11th in Pomona.
Yeah. Well, every race we've entered with this thing, we've qualified.
That's true. 2 races.
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
100% qualifying record.
So I think that gives you a little bit idea of the decision we had to make, why we came and said, okay, we're just going to go for it and make the leap and build the dragster. And then, but what we haven't talked about, and we don't have time to talk about in this video, but hit the like button, hit subscribe, ring the bell, because next time we're going to talk about what are the differences between running a funny car, a nitro funny car, and a top fuel dragster? Because you probably know that the engine components, the drivetrain, are all basically identical between a dragster and a funny car.
We thought you could just plug and play and watch this thing go.
Which is partly true, but what we found is the devil is in the details.
The devil's in the details.
Because
and they will bite you.
We you know, there's the old saying with a project, like twice the budget, twice the time. Kind of thing. So we ran into some very interesting roadblocks and challenges in switching to the dragster. So our next video is going to be about what is the difference between running a top fuel dragster and a nitro funny car, and what did we have to do to take a funny car operation and make it a top fuel dragster operation.
Right.
So stay tuned for next week. We're really excited to share the story and the process of that. And just spill the guts and all the money we had to spend and everything else. I'll tell you exactly how much money I make, how much I pay in taxes, where I donate my money,
his social security
my
number,
social security, my mother's maiden name, all of that.
Phone number.
Coming at you next time, so make sure you subscribe and ring the bell.
Like it.
Talk to you next time. Guys wearing a uniform.
Almost like we're on a team or something.
We're teammates.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Tell the people why we're here.
Oh my God, we just wasted so much time. If you haven't stopped watching now. So if you're, oh God, okay. Automatic.
Systematic. Hydromatic. Well, I could even be grease.
We're up in 3.
Hold on.
Hold on. Okay.